This video was sponsored by the Napoleonic Army, enlist today to anger every nation in Europe. Napoleon Bonaparte was born on August 15th, 1769 in Ajaccio, Corsica, to a family of Italian origin. France acquired the island of Corsica from the Italian city-state of Genoa 1 year before Napoleon was born, resulting in Napoleon adopting a French spelling of his last name. Napoleon transferred to the military academy at Brienne-le-Château at the age of 9, where he was bullied for his Corsican accent, birthplace, and short stature. Which, by the way, is inaccurate. Napoleon was actually of average height for the time. So for you gnome-headed viewers watching this video thinking you might actually be taller than one of the most skilled military commanders in all of history, you're sadly mistaken. Napoleon led his junior students to victory against senior students in a snowball fight, showing his leadership qualities at a very young age. Alright boys, charge! The snowball fight was Napoleon's first test at world domination. First was the playground, then came Europe. He was later admitted to the École Militaire Academy at the age of 15, where he trained to become an artillery officer. He excelled in mathematics, geography, and history, however was poor at French and German. Turns out you don't need to know either languages if you make your cannons do the talking. Napoleon became politically active during the French Revolution, actively supporting it and putting down royalist rebels in the southern French city of Toulon, after which he grew massively popular and was even promoted to the rank of brigadier general. He later married Josephine de Beauharnais in 1796, who had a little bit of a questionable reputation in terms of relationships. The War of the First Coalition officially began in the same year, where France fought a, you guessed it, coalition of European powers including the British, Dutch, and Austria, exporting their revolutionary ideas and establishing various sister republics. Throughout these conflicts, Napoleon developed incredible military tactics and earned the total respect of his men. As he approached Vienna, the Austrians were forced to undergo peace negotiations. He had single-handedly knocked Austria out of the war at the young age of 28. But hey, look on the bright side. At least you've achieved a new record of watching Instagram Reels for 25 hours a day, so who's the real winner here? In 1799, Napoleon decided that being given orders from the French government was not his type of thing. He wanted more. He initiated a coup d'etat beginning on the 9th of November, or 18 Brumaire in the French calendar, establishing the consulate in the place of the previous government and becoming the first consul. Soon, Napoleon proclaimed himself Emperor of the French in February of 1804. However, Britain, Russia, and Sweden did not recognize this official title. Bonjour, peasants. Just a quick heads up, I'm Emperor of France now. You can go ahead and bow. I said, you may bow. Excuse me? Do you not see my crown, my vibe, my strength? Bow! Yo, Russia, you know who this is, mate? It beats me, Britain, but you can probably ask Sweden or something. Oh, I also have absolutely no idea, Russia. Napoleon and his wife Josephine were crowned Emperor and Empress of France at an elaborate ceremony at the Notre Dame Cathedral. He literally lifted the crown and put it on his own head. As Oversimplified said, the balls on this man. Later on, Napoleon found out his aging wife Josephine was not able to provide him with a son. Napoleon, being the big boy monarch he is, wanted a son to be able to reign in his place after he died. So what did he do? He divorced Josephine and married Marie-Louise in 1810, the daughter of Austrian Emperor Francis I. A year later, Napoleon Francois Charles Joseph was born, nicknamed the King of Rome. Fitting. From 1798 to 1812, Napoleon continuously went to war with European coalitions against his rule, winning every single time as a result of his superior military tactics. Some of these included the Corps system, in which he divided his army to move faster, as well as rapid maneuvering to move troops quickly and maintain speed on the battlefield. You could say he had the need for speed. Oh, it's just me laughing? Okay. Anyways, all he had to do was maintain his glorious blue map and just stay chill. I mean, there's no way there could be a catastrophic event in a cold country that kills all his troops and starts the chain of events which leads to his downfall, right? Right? Oh, right. That. In 1812, Napoleon went to war with Tsar Alexander I of Russia, digging deeper and deeper into Russian territory. However, the Russians continued to retreat. He was eventually able to capture Moscow, however, but he did not stay very long. He sent a message to Tsar Alexander in St. Petersburg, however started to leave when he did not respond. This is where the real damage began to set in. Men froze to death on the frigid journey back. Many also died from starvation and disease. The dead were left on the side of the road to rot, and the Cossacks continued to inflict damage on the already suffering French army. Only around 20% of the French forces who entered Russia returned. Although Napoleon's battle tactics remained strong, he suffered many devastating losses during the War of the Sixth Coalition, and Paris fell to the Allies. On April 6, 1814, Napoleon abdicated his throne and was exiled to the small island of Elba off the western Italian coast. That was the end of Napoleon Bonaparte. Oh, you gullible little viewer. Napoleon escaped on a brig and returned to mainland France, where he was welcomed with cheers, as the French population had grown to miss their old emperor. For around 100 days, he was able to maintain power, as King Louis XVIII, the king who had replaced him, was not exactly the most popular. Allied powers, however, were not too happy at Napoleon's return, and were eager to deliver one last blow to finish him once and for all. Napoleon was eventually defeated by British and Prussian forces at the Battle of Waterloo, marking his final step on the battleground. This time, he was exiled to the faraway island of St. Helena, a British territory in the South Atlantic Ocean. He grew unhealthier and unhealthier during his life on the island. However, he continued to write and record stories about his greatness. He died on May 5th, 1821, officially of stomach cancer. Being a man from humble origins, Napoleon has had an incredible impact on history. His Napoleonic Code remains the main legal doctrine in many countries today, and Napoleonic military tactics are still studied worldwide. Although he was considered short, his footprint on history is definitely big. Again though, he was average height for the time.
Les rêves des amoureux sont comme le bon vin. Ils donnent de la joie ou bien du chagrin. Affaibli par la faim, je suis malheureux. Pas longtemps chemin, tout ce que je peux, car rien n'est gratuit dans la vie. L'espoir est un plat bien trop vite consommé. À sauter les repas, je suis habitué. Un voleur